Welcome everybody to another episode of Ready Set Pop. My name is Mariel Basori, all the way from Mexico City, and I'm here with my beautiful co-hosts, Lucas Apache from Brazil and Mauricio Sierra from Colombia. Hello guys.
Hello,
Hello.
guys.
Welcome to our track number 13. I can't
Oh,
believe how fast time has been for us. I mean, can't
yes.
believe we've been talking so much about pop music. So, what do you
Yes.
guys
Yes.
think?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's going fast and feels like we have so much to talk yet. So it's amazing.
Yes. Be ready because we have a lot of surprises coming for you. Right, guys?
Right,
Yes,
totally.
totally.
Great. Well, I'd like to give Lucas the chance to introduce this topic because it's a topic that he chose. So please, my friend, be my guest.
Okay. Well, guys, for today's episode, I chose the subject unreleased music. So we are going to talk about those songs that wasn't officially released, but leaked or ended up online or not. We just heard about this and we never had the chance to listen. I feel like today with internet, we forgot how hard it was to find out music years ago. Like it's very common, very easy. But if there's something that I really love about internet is the chance to discover and listen to music that we were not supposed to have so easily. But I know that for artists sometimes it's not a good thing because they are not being paying and things like this for the credits of the songs. But I
Mm-hmm.
cannot lie for you guys that I really, really love to find release a song and think how it could be part of an album or a project is one of my passions. I feel like it's one of your passions too. It's one of the reasons that I discovered Marielle at the first place. So this is the theme for today, unreleased music.
Yes, there's a lot to talk about. We want to focus on certain albums, songs, and videos too, because there are videos that were shot but were never officially released. So
Yes.
there's a lot to talk about today, and I would like to start with obviously Lucas, who chose this topic. What do you have for us today? What album are you talking about?
Okay, so the first album that we're going to mention is JC by NSYNC. We all knew that he released 2004 his debut album, but he was supposed to release another one back in 2006, 2007. He worked for this album with Timbaland and Justin Timberlake as a producer in three tracks of that. Um, and the album was never released. We only had official releases for the singles until yesterday, and You Ruined Me. There were radio singles with no music video to promote it, but the album was canceled actually for decision of JC. He wasn't happy with the record label and the strategy, sorry, behind the album. Probably even about the singles that were chosen for be the first one because I believe you guys listen to the songs and they are not most the radio friendly tracks on the album. They are very mature songs, but maybe for radio not so much. But this album had a lot of songs leaking for the ears. Like if you see Kate was a song that JC wrote, recorded for this album, and this track leaked like 12 years ago or more, and was recorded by the UK band McFly. So
Mm.
they use it this track. But last year, 2022, the other tracks came online, and we can make this unofficial "The Story of Kate" album. That is the title. So it's an album that I really, really like it. I listen a lot of it on YouTube. That is where the tracks are available. And I will talk about a few tracks, my vision of this. After I want to know of you guys, what you guys think, if you guys agree or not, what you guys enjoy it. because this album started with "I'm Not Sleeping Alone." That was a song produced by Justin Timberlake, but for me sounded so much um, with what Backstreet Boys did in 2007, the Unbreakable album. The production is very similar, and also very similar to Nick Lachey's "Was Left on Me" album. There was kind of a vibe for the boy band guys back then, very pop rock. But the album is very diverse. We can feel like that he was growing, and the music he was growing with him is very different from the first album. Only a few tracks are closer to the first album, like Fire for me is a little bit closer. The vocals reminds me of his era on NSYNC, but I feel like they could make better choices for single. For example, "God Bless America" is a
Mm.
very good choice for single in my opinion, and it was produced by Justin Timberlake. And you can, if you pay attention, you can listen to Justin as a background vocal on this track too. So it's almost
Mm.
in sync because basically Justin and JC were the singers back then.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the track "Fire" that I mentioned was produced by Timbaland, so maybe was another good choice for single since Timbaland was the biggest producer back then. But for me, my favorite track on that album is "Satellite." For me, it's very catchy song, very poppy and very cute. I don't know, it's a song that makes me feel good, and if I would choose a favorite, would be this one. So, guys, I want to know your impressions on this album. If you guys have a favorite track, or how you guys imagine this album with official release. It, for example, Marielle.
Well, thank you, Lucas. You and I share the same thought about Satellite. That's the song that just catch
Yes.
that I found more catchy, more pop, more like the type of music that I like. But to be really honest, I didn't find the whole album to be like so good. I mean, there are songs that I just said like, okay, next, because I found them like a little boring to be honest. I
Yeah.
mean, comparing to his first album,
Schizophrenic.
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 schizophrenic. Now I'm the one that's not schizophrenic. Yes. That album to me had a more poppy vibe, and this one I found it a little bit more filled with adult contemporary music,
Yes.
more mature than his previous sound. So yes, I would have chosen Satellite as a single too. And the ones that you mentioned that were released to be released as singles, I think like you mentioned that those weren't radio friendly, like so catchy that something that you could say,
Yes.
oh, this is a great comeback or a great single to start promoting an album. I found them like really like like meh,
Yes.
like filled up tracks, not standout tracks. More so,
Yes.
yes. So that's my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of JC Chases. I've always been a bigger fan of Justin Timberlake, but I think that the single decisions weren't great, and even though it was well produced, I think it deserved more promotion, or like I mentioned, like different singles to with. That's my opinion.
Okay. Great.
And
And you, Mal?
Well, we are talking about my favorite NSYNC members, so it's amazing to have the opportunity to listen to this album because I didn't know about it. So JC Chasez is my favorite, but to be honest, I never explore more about him. I just know this song "Blowing Me Up with Your Love" or something like that.
blowing
Yes,
me up with
blowing
Yes.
her love. Yeah.
that I consider is great. I love his voice. I think he's amazing. And for me, he was the one, like the shining star from NSYNC. So,
Yeah.
um, I perceive the album like in a lot of different directions. Like it starts very pop rock, as you said, Luquitas, like very pop rock in that direction that I think it was because the other singers were doing the same thing. But suddenly, in the middle of the album, you start listening more soul or R&B, in that vibe of or soul and R&B, mixing of course
Yeah.
with pop. There is a song that I really enjoy so much that is F with My Mind, that is
Hmm.
very
I
soulful.
knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was about to say that because yes, I love his voice. I love his voice. There is a performance by NSYNC with Angel Lopez by Song by Four. I don't know if you remember this. This is a
Yes.
Grammy Award, Latin Grammy Award,
Latin
something like that.
Grammy 2000.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, in that moment, JC is like the star for me. He's singing with Angel, very, very nice. His voice, I love his voice. So in that song in particular, I perceive that he's doing what he is really. He is the person that he is,
Mm.
like more soulful. I
Yeah.
consider JC Chasez more in that direction, actually his voice is very for R&B and soulful music.
Yes.
In the case of God Bless America, I think it was a good track for to be released as a single. It's very Jamiroquai. I don't know what you guys think, but it's very
Yes.
Jamiroquai. The
Yes,
voices and
it has
everything.
that vibe.
Yes, I agree with Mariel. It's not a great record for me, but it has some points that are high for me, like highlights. Good songs to be released, and it's a shame JC didn't have the opportunity to be more bigger because he's incredible.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mal. Well, I feel like it was an album great enough to be released, at least. As a full album, I think it deserved it to be officially released. That there was like not so many radio songs, but when you think about Grammys back then, it was albums kind of like this, like adult
Yes.
contemporary that could be nominated or something like this. So this is the one we're going to rate here. Like we have 1 to 5 stars. I will give to this one 4 because for me it's like a good is a good work as an album. And to be honest, I'm not really fan of the first. So when I compare uh, the two albums, I can feel for me like a step up for that one. So for me, it's like 4 stars. And for you, Marielle, two.
Just two, because
Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
feel it like very, at least not that attractive to me. Like
Oh,
it's
great.
an
Okay,
album,
okay.
that I could easily forget, or maybe I should give it another try. But for me, it has songs that were pretty boring, to be honest, and so I think that it should have had more pop dance vibes, at least
Yes,
for me. But that's my opinion.
yes, yes. And that's your opinion. Great. And you, Mal?
Because of his voice, I give this album a 3
Two, three, four.
because
Great.
Okay.
yes, because it's not like oh my God, it's a shame that this album never was released, but at the same time I think it got potential, like because as you said, Luquitas, at that time we had other albums that are very similar and had a lot of awards and stuff like that. So yes, it's an album that it was worth it. I think so. Yes, I think it's a 3 for me.
Great.
Okay. So JC is a 4, a 3, and a
And a
2
two.
for
Two,
us.
yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And now, Marielle, we talk about another unreleased album that we had the chance to hear because it's online. So please, Marielle, it's your turn.
And it actually is related to JC, because
Yes.
some of the songs from the album I'm gonna mention were written and produced by JC Chases. So yeah,
Yes.
it's kind of related. And it's all
Yes.
about Wild Orchids' third unreleased album, Fire, which I believe, to be honest, is their best album from their entire discography. I mean, if you listen to Wild Orchids' first two albums, they sounded more like R&B, more chill songs, more mature, if you ask me.
Yes.
And when they recorded Fire, they went like, oh, okay, we just did the mature part, now we're going sassy. So now it's time for us to be more, like, yeah, I want to show my skin. I want to be more like, want to change my hair. They totally changed their looks from what they were looking in their first albums, Wild Orchid and Oxygen. And so they decided to go work with Jay-Z, who had already produced some songs, especially for Boys and Girls United, as you know, with Messed Around and Can't Stop Loving You. Those songs have that Jay-Z vibe, and the same thing
Yes.
happens with the songs from Fire. I obviously have them here in my phone because I do adore this album, and it's a shame it never saw the light. It was about to be released, but unfortunately Fergie started with this crystal meth addiction, and
Oh,
so yes, she was very involved with drugs. So the record labels thought that she was very problematic, and that she wasn't like a good example for young for the young, and so it never happened. It got recorded, it got produced, but it never saw the light, and it's a real shame because it really deserved it. If you see, there are it's a 14 song album. The first single that was released as single but didn't receive like so much promotion was Stuttering, Don't Say. And it was supposed to have a video. It never had a video because of the same things. Fergie was starting to get into a lot of trouble. She wasn't arriving at time for the rehearsals. She was obviously sick because of the drugs. So the record label decided not to give it the full support that it deserved,
Okay.
which is a shame. So the first single was to be Stuttering, which I believe it's not a bad song, but in my opinion, the best song from this album is Lies, which
nice.
was also supposed to be the second single. They did perform it like a couple of times, but it didn't enter any charts or anything. But that song in particular is like the one that stands out the most for me, as Do Me Right and Fire. I love also Fire. Um, they also recorded a song called World Without You, which was also recorded by Solid Harmony's second unreleased album, which is all now available on digital platforms. But I think it's a good album. It mixes pop, R&B, more hip hop, more dance than their previous records that were more ballads, more ballad related. And this album had more fire, like the title says. So it's more sassy, it's more catchy, and well, for me, it should have been released. What do you guys think about this album, Lucas?
I agree with you that this album is their best. Like, it is my favorite from this group. I feel like the album starts very pop, like it's pure 2001 pop. It starts very strong, so I really like Stuttering, Just Another Girl. Uh, there's another song that is actually my favorite, called It's All Your Fault. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it's so good, this track. So this one, alongside with Lies, I are my favorites and should be singles for sure. Actually, Lies kind of reminds me Everybody Doesn't, of Amanda, with a little bit of Irresistible of Jessica Simpson, a little bit of Camila Brink. In the chorus, there's some melody that kind of reminds me The Boy Is Mine by Brandon Monica. I don't know. It's like all those things together and a great pop song. And there are two tracks that I don't like that much that are a little bit of Loving and
Mm-hmm.
Candlelight.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they sound like an S Club 7 or Atomic Kitten track that is on the album, but it's not strong, you know?
Like filler
It's just
songs.
an. Oh, sorry.
A filler song. Those songs that, oh, we need to put more songs. I'll put this one and this one. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly like this. And there's another track called You Knew that I like. For me,
Mhm.
it's kind of similar to Willa Ford vibe. And there's this track, Word Without You, that you mentioned. I really enjoy the song, but for me, it's easier to like the song because it sounds familiar because it was also recorded by Tammy Sursok from Australia in
Mm-hmm.
her 2005 album that is very pop rock, and this album that I really love. So when I listen, it's easier for me to connect it because it's familiar to my ears. And the cover of
Oh
Emotion,
yes,
the
but
same that
the Bee
Destiny
Gees.
Child did. I don't like that much, but I think it's because of the comparison with that Destiny Child version.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
impossible for me not to compare. For me, Destiny Child did better with this one.
Yeah, the
But
vocal
it's
range
an
is different.
amazing, yes, but it's an amazing album for sure. I really like this album.
And what about you, Mao?
I have to say that I really enjoy the album. I don't know why you didn't suggest me this album before, Mariel, because it's very 2001,
Mm,
as Lucas said. Like, I always perceive Wild Orchid this kind of group of white girls that want to sound black, not in a bad way for sure.
Yeah.
But doing this kind of voices, like this kind of notes, the very soulful, yeah.
mm-hmm.
They are very soulful. Like, they are for me like SWV or
Yes.
this kind of group, yes. And moving in that direction to be more pop in this year was phenomenal. Was a clever decision because at that time we had Britney, Christina, and all the singers doing the same. So I think it was a good move. It's a shame this album was never released because it was a good option and got a amazing production this album. So I enjoy so much this song Stuttering because it's very 2001 and the song Lies because that's the reason I was laughing when you mentioned this song that because I thought the same like this song was perfect to be released as a single. So and I have to say these triggers has powerful voices. I'm not a huge fan of Fergie's voice, but I have to say she has an amazing voice, a very powerful voice. So it's great to listen to this kind of great voices doing this bubblegum pop. Like in the case of Christina Aguilera, for example, you can hear this great voice doing these harmonies, but in a very bubblegum pop song. So yes, I think it was a good album. It was perfect for the time that was supposed to be released. So yeah, I enjoy it so much. I enjoy it so, and it's a shame it was never released because it was perfect. So
Yes.
I have to say I prefer her previous jobs because it's more maybe more me. But I have to say I enjoy so much the Fire album. Yes, it's a yes for me.
Yes. Too bad it never saw the light. But thank God it leaked and we can listen to their
Yes,
songs.
yes,
So,
yes.
yay, thank you. Now, rankings. I will rank this album a 4 because there are, like Lucas mentioned, some songs that I would take out and like some ballads like Candlelight and so. But the rest of the album is really, really good. So, it's a 4 for me. Luquitas?
You ask me? It's
Yes.
because cut it a little.
Yes, you
Okay.
got frozen. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm back
Yes.
for you. Yes, everyone's back. Everyone's is moving.
Yes.
Yes, we're
Yes,
here.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So for me, this album is a 4 for sure. Like for the same reason, I just cut it like 2 songs of this, and the rest is perfect pop perfection for me. Number is a 4.
And you, Mao?
Well, for me, even when I think that it was a good decision to move in that direction of bubblegum pop music, I think for me it's a 3 because I consider it's a good album, but not so different from the other pop acts at the time.
Okay.
It was
Tough
something
crowd.
very
Wow,
similar,
wow, it's
yes,
a
for
tough
me.
crowd.
I enjoyed the album. I enjoyed the album and I like the album so much. But for me, it was very similar to other works, like nothing new. Not with this. I'm not saying it's not a good album. It's a good album and it's the kind of song that I enjoy the most from this time in music. But yes, it's not very fresh for me.
Okay. Yes. Well,
Okay.
thank you. Now, it's your turn, Mao, to talk about your the album that you chose, which is a mess, but we will definitely talk about it.
Yes. Yes, yes, guys. Today we are not showing anything
No.
because, of course, it is our unreleased music, but this I'm going to show it anyway. Our girl Jojo. This girl had to deal with a lot of problems in her career in 2007 and 2008 and 9 all these years because she was struggling with a lot of problem with her record label
Mhm.
that was Black Ground Records and the family. That was the house of Aaliyah, you know that. And the owner is Barry Hankerson. That was the Aaliyah sound, the Aaliyah's uncle, sorry. And yes, this album is a mess. She was working in that album. Too Little Too Late. That is here. I'm going to show it too. Um, yes, I have to show it.
course.
Too Little
You
Too Late
should.
was Too Little Too Late was a successful song. Was number three in the Billboard Hot 100. And with this, Blackground Records had a new prodigy, like the new John Diva. So I think it was very bad managed at that time because they wanted to have JoJo very skinny, like, and a lot of pressure on her, like, you have to look more skinny to release your next album. They were giving her pills to lose weight, so it was very bad for her health at that time. So she was working in that album and it was never released. The name of the album is All I Want Is Everything. Then changed the name for Jumping Trains, and at the end, it was never released with any of these names. So as you told Mariel, it was a mess. She was very sad. She was very fighting for this album to see the light, and it was never happened. A lot of songs were recorded with a different kind of styles, like in the same line of the high road, like very pop R&B. We have other songs that are more pop. In that time in music, the singers were experimenting with a lot of EDM music and mixing EDM with a lot of pop and R&B. So you can hear in this album some EDM mixed tracks. Um, the album was never released. She was like fighting, and she had the opportunity to be free from this contract in 2016, I think, or 2000 when she finally released the Mad Love album
I think a
with
little bit
Atlantic.
earlier. The
Earlier, yes,
single
yes.
was 2015, so maybe
Yes, yes,
around this.
yes, yes, look at us. Yes, yes. I'm not sure about the dates, the year, but yes, you are right because it was the 2016 was the year of the release of this album, but she got she was free maybe a little bit earlier. So yes,
Yes.
and I want to know your opinions on this album, guys. I think it was very unfair for her because she got all the potential to be the new diva with her voice, with her style, with her look. She's gorgeous. I think I mean you know that I love this woman. I know you love her too. So I think she's a warrior. I think she's a fighter. She loves music and she prove to everybody that she was born to make music. So she never give up. She continued fighting for be free of this contract. And at the end, she had the opportunity to do it, and she had the opportunity to create a record label too that is Clover. So it was good for her. I love her so much, and that's the story. I think it's unfair because it was a lie that she had to lose weight. I think it was a problem with the distribution. I think it was a problem inside of Blackground Records because what Blackground Records was never a huge label, so they were experimenting a lot of troubles with money and everything. So I think
Yes.
it was the reason. I want to know your opinions, guys, about this album and about the situation.
Um, me?
Mariel.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
uh, it's a mess with JoJo because I believe she's one of the best singers out there. Since she was such a young girl, she proved to have an amazing vocal range. I mean, when she released her debut album and Leave or Get Out or whatever you want to call the song came out, we were like, wow, she has that voice at such a young age. So we knew she had the potential to become the new Mariah. But unfortunately, the record label she chose or the management she had wasn't the appropriate one. So she knew how to sing. She definitely had the looks. That idea of her being fat is like so crazy, and I don't think that has anything to do with the talent, if you ask me, because
Yes.
we know singers that aren't skinny like Adele, and they are pretty popular. So I don't see how that would affect her career. So I really do like the songs that I know that have leaked because I don't know what the official set list, I mean song list would have been because
Yes.
there's like a bunch of playlists out there that saying, oh, this is the official one, and there's a mess. But the ones I have heard are pretty good. They are really similar to the work she did on the High Road, working with more R&B pop vibes, and her voice sounded even more mature. So because she
Yes.
was, I don't know, like 18 when that album was supposed to be released. I don't know, probably.
Yes.
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 So
Yes.
when she recorded her first, she was 13. So her voice
Yes.
definitely changed from that time. And she sounded more mature. The songs were cool. There's one that stands out for me. Just let me check the list because there are so many. um
Yes.
uh Fearless. I love that one.
Okay.
Impossible to Love
To love.
and How
Yes.
You Did It.
Beautiful.
And of course the
Ah,
title
okay.
track
All
All I
beautiful
Want Is
songs.
Everything, I also liked it. But like I said, I don't know if those songs were planned to be officially in the album. So but those are the ones I
In the
have heard
album.
and that I like. And I do believe that JoJo is really underrated and that she deserves more attention because she's a powerful singer. She has always fought to be like present in the music
In the
industry.
music
And
industry.
it's a shame that
Yes.
Yes.
she doesn't get the attention that she needs. And this album should have been released. Thank you. Bye.
Totally agree.
Okay. Now, Luquitas.
What do you think, Luquitas?
Well, for me, it's super easy to talk about this because she's also one of my favorites ever, and she's one of the singers with the most unreleased music out there for sure. Like there's a bunch of songs. Like only for this episode, I listened to like 30 tracks for what's supposed to be this album, and as Mal mentioned, it became Jumping Trains later, so we have more tracks after
Yes.
Disaster and the other chick. So more and more and more tracks, and it's still happening. Like this year, leaked like a bunch of JoJo songs. She still makes making music. She's amazing. I had the chance to see her performing live this year, and I gotta say that she's alone on the stage is the show that you need. Like she don't need dancers. She doesn't need anything. Like she's singing and walking, and her presence is like a full concert. Is amazing. And for these tracks, I love almost all the tracks, so it's hard for me to say. So I gotta say that my favorite is "Keep on Forgetting," to forget about
Mm.
you. That was leaked back then,
Yes.
in the time that she was working on this, and is
In
one of my
2008. Yes.
favorites of JoJo. Is on my top 10 in Last FM. So I heard a lot of this track. I also love "Wrong Man for the Job," "Fearless," as Marielle said. There's another one. that I love, always be right there. It's safe with me. Safe with me is a really beautiful track. And one track that got my attention is not my favorite, but got my attention is the one with the Daft Punk sample
Yes.
all around the world.
All around
You
the
take
world,
me
yes.
all around the world. I was curious about this track because she recorded this, of course, with Daft Punk permission. So maybe it was supposed to be like a single or something because around 2009 we already had like Lady Gaga and those singers making more electronic music, as Mal mentioned. So it could be a good move for her on the radio or a good music
Hmm.
video. I don't know. But I do love basically everything that she did. And I feel like she's one of the best. I can't wait for I can't wait to listen what she's working now for the next album. And I wish sometimes she could release it like a JoJo's version of All I Want
Of
Is
all of
Everything.
this, yes.
Yes, and Jumping Trains, because she was the first to do this movement, like re-recorded the music to make her free. And Taylor Swift actually got this advised for JoJo. Now Taylor Swift is
Mm,
winning awards
because of that, yes.
like she's the one who broke the mold on industry. She is in a lot of ways, but in this case was JoJo's
The
uh,
first.
idea. Yeah, she was the first, and she actually uh, told Taylor Swift to do that. So
Hmm.
JoJo is an amazing
Yes.
artist. That's it. I love
Yes,
this
So
woman.
yes,
complete.
yes, totally agree, guys. I love your opinions.
Yes.
Because yeah, I feel the same about her. I had the opportunity to see her live too, and it was a completely blessed for me. It was very she's very close to people when she's performing, and
Yes,
her presence in the stage is breathtaking, as you said. Like she's in the stage and she doesn't need to dance a lot or just with her voice and with her personality is enough.
the moves, yeah, the way she moves and
The
everything.
way she
Like
moves, yeah.
I was with a friend that was not that familiar with her music, and he watched the whole show like paying attention and talking to me. Oh my God, those notes that she's doing! I said, yes, she's
Yes,
really good.
yes, yes, yes. It's interesting that you mentioned that because I was with two friends. It was in New York City, and I was with two friends that are not familiar at all with JoJo or with R&B or pop music. And actually, it was my friend that is Alvaro and his girlfriend. That his girlfriend is Karen, and she's very salsa and rock and nothing about pop music. And she was like, "Oh my God, this girl has an amazing voice. I enjoy it so much. Thank you for bringing me here." So I was like, okay, okay, I like you, like it. So, and
That's
I
beautiful.
don't know if it's true, but I heard or I read somewhere that the first single for this album was "Forever in My Life." I'm not sure about it. This is one of
Maybe
my
yes.
favorites. Another favorite for me is "Keep Forgetting." Totally. I hate love, and there is a song that is the favorite of the favorites that is Uncharted. With at that time they say that it was with Ray J, the Brandy's brother, but it's not Ray J. It's an R&B singer that is called Lester Shaw.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. No, yeah,
It's
I
not
know.
Ray
I
J.
know.
It's not Ray J.
JoJo is
Yes, yes,
such a
yes.
great singer. I don't
So
know if you guys remember 3 years ago. Um, Mariah Carey had a concert and JoJo was attending and she was backstage with her and they both sang Everything Fades Away, an unreleased song from Mariah. And it was like heaven.
yes.
It was amazing seeing those two together because I know how much JoJo admires Mariah. And seeing Mariah inviting her to
Yes.
sing with her
Yes.
was amazing. So I believe that she's definitely underrated.
Yes.
Yeah, she needs more. Okay, bye. I'm gone because I'm mad. No, no.
Totally.
Yeah.
Should we rate this supposed album because
It's a
it's a
Of
five.
five
course.
for me? Yes.
Okay. For you, it's a five. For me, it's a five too.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
agree in everything. So yeah. It is a great I don't know how to call it, like compilation or something like that, because a lot of songs. Yes, yes, but yeah. Oh, okay, it's a five. This time it's a five
Yay.
for the three of us.
It's a
So,
five.
oh, it's great. It's
Great.
great.
Doesn't matter the
So,
track list.
No,
All the
yes,
tracks are
and
good.
because
yeah,
we
yeah,
all love JoJo, so yes. Lots of love to
yes,
Yes.
you,
totally.
JoJo. Um
Yes, yes, totally. We jump to Lucas, but because we are talking about now, we just talk about the albums. Now we were talking about the songs,
yes, and
Yes.
the unreleased songs.
Well,
So the word is your
yeah, you
Luquitas.
chose a very
for
specific one.
me
A
to
very weird one.
yes, yes, yes. I will talk about this girl group. It's a girl group called LAX Girls. Actually, at first it was LAX, then LAX Girls, and then Cali Girls. They had three names in super short period of time, and actually their only official release was the first single "Forget You." That I love. This track is one of my favorite tracks in my life, and it was released actually in Blackground record
Well,
in 2007 with
Blackground
Universal
Records,
Music. Sorry, Mo.
Blackground Records.
Yes,
Now
it
We
we
was
know
the
what
label.
know. Now
happens.
we know that the reason that yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Yes,
it's a
now we know.
disaster. Yes.
They were a trio, and those girls were working in the debut album. And they used to post a few tracks on MySpace as the artist uh, did it in 2007. Back then, everyone was in MySpace. And this track that I'm bringing today is called Stop, Drop, Roll. They posted on MySpace, and it was never officially released. It was never a single. It was never on the album because we don't have an album actually. We only have like three songs for this
Yeah.
group online. Those two, and that the other one is No Better. That for me is not that good as the other two, but I do love this track so much. It's very R&B, is very pop at the same time, like Paula Deanda and all those girls were doing back then, like sweet R&B pop from the heart, like very sweet, and kind of reminds me a moment in my life that I had those teenager feelings. So it brings me so many memories. This track, and I really wanted to be officially released. I really wanted to have more tracks of those girls. And I want to know if you guys listen to this one. What are your opinions? Maybe it's more Mao's kind of music. Maybe Maria will surprise me. I don't know. But Mao, what do you think about this track?
I enjoyed so much the track, of course. This is my kind of music. I remember, and now that you mentioned Paula Dianda, I remember that time when I was crazy about Paula. Walk Away was like on repeat at that time. So I thought the same when I was listening to the song by these girls. Like, oh my God, this is the kind of music that I start loving when I was in high school. So even when I enjoy the song, I think there is something that is missing in the song. Maybe the production. For me, it's like a
Hmm.
demo, even if
Yes,
it's great.
and it
Even if
probably
it's
was.
the
Yes.
great song, yes, for me sounds like a demo. It's a good song. It's a cool song. Yes, actually, totally agree. But for me, sounds like a demo. So I think this girl had potential. I, of course, it's not a good idea when a singer or a group start changing the name and this kind of silly names like Cali Girls, LA Girls, or this kind of, because it's not good for them and it's not catchy at the same time. I think because okay, LA Girls, LAX Girls, so I think it was not good for them. Yes, so yes, that's my opinion about the song. What do
Okay.
you
And
think,
you,
Yeah,
Maria?
Marielle?
I totally agree with Mao in that part. I think that if you're starting a new project, you should just stay with a name and not change it like crazy. Because Luca said in a very short time, they changed their name 3 times. So that doesn't help to start.
Yes.
And then I believe they lacked a good management, and because it was weird to see a girl group like them in those years, because already girl groups were starting to disappear, and it would have been great to
Yes.
see more from them. So yeah, from that part, yes.
Yes.
I always confused them with another girl group called A Girl Named Jane. So I always thought they were the same, and since they changed their names
Yes.
so many times, I always thought it was one
Yeah.
of their.
And I believe they only have one
He's
song
alive.
officially to this group that
Yes,
you
he's
mentioned. Yes.
alive, live, live. Yes. But anyway, I think that they should have stayed only with one name and to have a better management. But the song that you just mentioned, I just listened to it. I knew it before, but I just re-listened to it. I think it's cool. It's pop. I don't know if it had a single potential, but it definitely was catchy, and like you mentioned, it kind of bring me back to those times of Paula Dianda and other singers, probably in an R&B way, like
Tanisha
Tanisha Kelly,
Kelly.
yes,
Yes,
or even a
very.
3LW song. It works
Yes.
for me, like a 3LW song.
Yes.
It was good. It should have been released officially, because like Mao said, the version that it's available out there sounds like a demo. So definitely, if with more arrangements, it would have sound even better than it is. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Great. It is funny that you guys perceive this as a demo because I feel like I've been listening to this since it was released a lot, and I don't perceive like this anymore. For me, it is what it is. It is done in my ears. But
Okay.
probably it was a demo because it was on MySpace, probably for them to test the song and
Mm.
see how people react before they really finish the track. So you guys are right. Well, for me, this track, a demo or not, is a five, but I think it's because of the memories that I have with this. Is I'm very close to the song in my heart, so it's a five. I wanna know for you guys, Mal.
For me, it's a four. It's a good four. Because at that time I was so attached to this kind of music. So I know right now if this song was playing in the radio at that time, I was addicted to that song. So for me,
Yes.
it's a four, yes, because that was the kind of music that I was crazy about it at that time.
Yeah, okay. My ranking for this song, it would be a 3, because I just don't love it so much. I think there is something missing. For me, it does sound like a demo, so I think that if it sounded a bit more produced, I would have loved it a little bit more. But I like it. I like it. It's a good song, and it's a shame we didn't get more songs from LAX girls, LAX, or Cali girls, or whatever their name
Yes.
was. So,
Those girls.
so
Yes,
yeah,
you're
those
right.
Yes.
girls. Yes. Anyway,
So let's move
now
on for the next.
moving on. Yes, I want to talk about a singer that I love. She's from Australia. She released 2 albums, which are amazing. For me, she was like the Australian Britney Spears, and that she deserved more. It's a shame her third album never saw the light, and that we only had some songs. And I'm talking about Miss Holly Valance. Um, we know she released a very successful song, which was a cover by Turkish singer Tarkan, Kiss Kiss. And
Yeah.
she had other popular songs like Down Boy, Naughty Girl. And her second album didn't do so well, even though it's one of the most amazing albums in the world. You guys, I know Holly Valance is one of those perfect pop stars. And in when she finally released her second album, a few years later, some songs started to leak, and there were talks about a third album. There were talks about it called being Unleash the Freak. It was, I think, the name that it was supposed to have. And among those songs that leaked was one called Superstar, and it's the song that I just sent to you guys, and that I asked you to listen to. I really liked it. It remained in the pop ways that she was already working. I mean, if you listen to her second album, State of Mind, it's a song that could have perfectly fit in that album because it had that same vibe. It was catchy, it was fun, it was pop, it was fresh, but unfortunately, it was only leaked. We don't know if it was the official final version or if it was a demo. I really don't know what happened, but I wanna know your opinion, guys, about this song and Holly in particular. Mao.
Okay, Mario, thank you. I want to be very objective about the this song because it's not the kind of song that I really enjoy so much. I remember the last episode when we were talking about that this song in particular is too pop to for me too, I think. But I think this song had a great potential. I want to know what was the year of the releasing of this song.
Probably 2005 was the year that she recorded.
Okay,
To
okay. She
Let me see
recorded
if I
some in
have it
yes.
here. I think because I have a supposed album, but it's not official. It's like the JoJo album. It's not official.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if it says here. 2004.
Okay, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was very funny because I was looking for the song in YouTube and I start listening to another song with her, but with a rapper or something, and the song was terrible. And I was like, oh my God, this song is horrible. What happened? But suddenly I asked you guys, and Lucas sent me the real song, and I have to say I enjoyed it in a way that it's a good pop song, as you said. It's a perfect
Mm-hmm.
pop song for the year, for and it's good that not every singer at that time was trying to make something similar to Ashley Simpson or Avril Lavigne because all the girls
Mm-hmm.
were merging in that. But in the case of Holly Valance, I think she was doing more pop, this bubblegum pop in this year. So I think it's amazing. I think it's a good song. So yeah, for sure,
And you,
a
Lucas.
good pop song. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Actually, it's funny that you chose this song because I discovered this track like 1 week before you mentioned. I downloaded, and for me, it could be easily a first single for a third album. It's
Yes.
so good. It's very well produced. And I'm talking a lot of wrong words today. Very well produced, and the noise in the beginning of the song, like kind of reminds me other track or a sample of some movie song that I can't remember. It drives me crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's familiar. I don't know if back then when the song leaked, I knew it. Same out.
For for me, sorry, Luquitas. For me, was very similar to that movie that is called Music and Lyrics or something like that with Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant.
Mm.
The song
I don't
that
remember the song, but maybe.
the song that
Oh,
this girl that was a pop star in the film was
yes.
doing is very
Hey,
similar. Is in that
Haley
vibe.
Bennett. Yes, Haley Bennett's song. I think it's called
Yes,
Buddha's
yes.
Delight. Mm-hmm.
Buddha's Delight. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Oh, it's
For me, it's
similar
like that.
to this.
Yes.
I
I don't
watched
know if
this
you
movie, but I
were.
don't remember.
I don't
Maybe
know if you
it
were
is.
thinking about it, Luquitas. I don't know.
Maybe it's
Yes.
that one. Yes.
Maybe because sounds very familiar. I don't know if back then when the song leaked, I downloaded and I used to listen when I was really young, and that's why I kind of feel familiar to this. I don't know, but it's a very good song. Actually, for me, it's better than some songs that she actually officially released on the albums.
Like State of
Is
Mind.
better. Yes, it's even better.
State of Mind is
So
really boring.
yeah, such a shame she didn't release another album. It's a good track.
Yes, well, anyway, thank you guys for your opinion. Now, how would you rank this song? I would give it a 4 because I think that it had a single potential.
Yes.
It was a cool song. It's fun and you guys can check it out. It's on YouTube available. So, what
Yes.
about you?
Actually, it's good to mention everyone that we are putting in our description a playlist with all the songs that we are talking here, but this time on YouTube because
Yes.
they are not available on streaming, so you guys can check. And since I started to talk, I will give you my notes for this is 4 too, Marielle.
Okay.
I really like this song. It's not a 5 because I'm saving the 5 for those one with my heart, but it's a 4 for sure.
Okay. Okay. And you, Mimau?
I I have to say that it's a cool pop song for the radio, so I'm not talking about my personal taste. I'm talking about more like the production and the song in particular, in specific. So I have to give this song a 4 too.
Good. Yay.
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay. Great. And now, what song do you want to talk about, Mao? I know you chose one that it's impossible to find. Thank you. But yes.
I didn't hear, sorry, Mariel. You were frozen.
Oh, that that I now it's your turn to talk about
Okay.
the song that you chose, and that it's one that it's impossible to listen to because we
Yes.
can find it anywhere, which is a shame. But
Yes, it's a
please.
shame.
It's
It's
really,
a
really
shame.
unreleased. Yes.
Yes, yes. This time is for one of my queens, Miss Mariah Carey. And this song supposed to be in this album, Rainbow. So, well, the long short story about the song. You know that she was dating with Luis Miguel, the huge Mexican singer and artist at that time. So they were preparing a song together, and they were working with David Foster and Diane Warren and big names in the music industry in the United States. So Mariah had the idea to make a song with Luis Miguel called After Tonight. They recorded the song. They were working on the song. The final result, Luis Miguel didn't like at all. There are two versions that I'm going to take in consideration. I think one is for the series and one is for the reality. In the series, they say that Luismi was not happy with the result of the song because they use a lot of autotune in his voice. The real or apparent, allegedly, the real version of this story is of course, Mariah Carey has a huge range. So in this case, Louise Me, of course, has a powerful voice too, but she's a woman, and her and their vocals together was not sounding very good for Luis Me. So
Uh,
when Luis Miguel had the opportunity to listen to the final version of the song, he was not happy with the result because of that, because of the modifications of the song, because his voice and her voice, there was something that was not working in the song for him. I think it was an amazing moment, like iconic moment in time for music, like this huge Latin male singer and this queen of music at that time and in the late 90s. And I think it was, and I want to know your opinions about this guy, but I think that it was because of the ego of Luis Miguel, because he's good, he's really good, his voice is amazing, but maybe if he could he could have been more like, I don't know how to say it, but he could more, I don't know how to say it, more in agree with the song. Like, okay, maybe we can do this arrangement for the song to work. But I think he was very like, no, I don't like it. I don't want it, the song. This is not me. And he was very, his ego played a huge part on this story. At the end of the day, we have the Mariah Carey version of the song that I really love. That is one of my favorites from this album. That is this song. So it's an amazing and perfect ballad. So it's a shame we don't have this duo, because this duet, this collaboration, because I think whatever, I don't know who has this song, David Foster, I don't know, but please release it, because I am sure it's a great song and it's a great collaboration. What do you think, guys? Mariel?
Well, you are talking about two of my favorite singers in the world. You know,
Yes.
Mariah is my queen, and Louis Me is my second favorite male singer out there.
Yes, I
So,
know.
I love them too. And I know for being Mexican that Luis Miguel has always, always been difficult to work with. And if you actually take a look at his discography, he doesn't have duets with anybody because he's very
No,
he's he's very jealous of his work. And like you mentioned, it this must have been something about egos or something. Like I know Mariah has a huge vocal range, and even though Luis Miguel has it too, he doesn't match her 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 her
her
ability,
range.
her range.
Yes,
Yes.
so
So
yes,
I
yes,
think
because he's a man.
and he's very, very, like the son of Mexico because that's how he's known, like the best singer in Mexico. So he definitely must have thought that I'm not gonna be shining this time because Mariah is the star, and even though I'm a star too, I'm not gonna shine the way she is going to, and people's gonna make fun of me. So I
Mm.
am pretty sure that's what happened because I know Luis Miguel. I know how difficult he is, and even in his personal life, he's difficult as a parent, as a friend. So I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. That he felt intimidated by Mariah's vocal range, and that's
Okay.
why he said, you know what, this is not going to be released. Sorry. So yeah, that's what happened. And well, that's my opinion, but I would love to hear it because I mean, those two are my idols. So yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Mariel. What do you think, Luquitas?
Well, I going to give my opinion based on what you guys are talking because I know that you guys are very fans of Mariah and Marielle of Luis Miguel. That I'm not really familiar with his music, unfortunately. As I mentioned before, for me as a kid, his music was very for growing ups, like for adults, and I was not super into. Uh, but I feel now listening to this that good for Mariah that this version was not released because she could show her range in her voice all by herself, perfect like she is, and shame on him if he cannot let his girl shine more than he could shine, because they were like together back then, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. They were dating.
Yeah, so why not? Okay. But of course, I would love to listen. I'm curious about this. And if Luis Miguel sounded bad on this, which I really doubted because he's a great singer, I would laugh at him. Like, you are bad.
Yeah, I mean,
But not. I doubt
he's
it.
always
He's
been
amazing.
known. He's always been known for
Yes.
being really stubborn. Like
Okay.
the king. So yeah, I know how he
Yes.
is, and he missed the opportunity to be part of an album from Mariah. I mean, even though the whole album is
Yes.
dedicated to him. Um,
Yeah. And
so
imagine how good it would be on the Latin charts, at least.
Yes,
It
I
would be
know.
amazing.
I know. So yeah,
Yes.
I blame it on Luis Miguel this time.
yes.
Okay.
This time
If the
is
fan is saying, I cannot disagree.
this time is impossible to give a score for the song because it's
We don't
not
know
possible
it.
to listen. But
Yeah.
I want you to give a score for the collaboration, like how you rank a collaboration between these two great singers.
It's a 5 for
A
me.
five. Okay,
Yes,
Of
okay.
because
What
course.
do you think,
I love
Luquitas? Of
them.
course. Yes.
Yeah. For me, it's a three because I'm curious about this, but not very excited, as you guys would be. And for you,
Okay.
Mal?
For me, it's a five too because it was like the perfect match. Like, for example, "Señorita" by Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes. This kind of song that these two people are dating at the same time they are releasing music together. I think it's a perfect combination. So for me, it's a five too.
Yeah,
Great.
great.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
we're moving on to music videos that were shot but never officially released. So, Kitas, tell us all about the one you
Okay.
chose.
Well, I think this one is the most close to our ears that I chose. Is not from 2000s or the 90s. Is 2012, I believe. Is the Carly Rae Jepsen's Curiosity. Actually, she released music before Call Me Maybe on Canada, her country. But after Call Me Maybe, she went like boom in the world. But the single was really good on the charts before on Canada. That's how Justin Bieber discovered her and started to post um, this song everywhere, and the song went worldwide. So before Call Me Maybe became like this huge hit, she was already with the EP ready and out called Curiosity. And on this EP, it was the track, of course, Curiosity, and it was supposed to be the second single on Canada. Like after the huge hits that Call Me Maybe was only in Canada. They planned this as a second single, and they recorded the video. And it's very more sexual than Call Me Maybe. She's like very sexy in the music video. She had this boy, this man actually in the music video that she's kissing and jumping in. And for me, this version of the track on the EP is way better than the version in the album. I don't know if you guys are familiar with both versions, but it's very more deep and there's more feeling on this. It's not childish, is other track almost. And the music video for me reflects that. Is dramatic, there's rain, there's television exploding, there's everything. And it was not released because Call Me Maybe became international global phenomenon, and she
Mhm.
had a lot of kids as fans. She was already 26 when Call Me Maybe was released, but she looked very young. She looked
Yes.
like a teenager.
Mhm.
And it was a moment when we had Selena Gomez and the Disney Girls like on the charts too. So she was kind of in the same moment and the same package of those girls. And kids really enjoy it. Call Me Maybe, so they cancel the music video that leaked, and it's available now on YouTube. For
Okay.
many years, it was available only for download. YouTube was not allowing the music video there for copywritings, but now it's there, and is one of the, for me, one of my favorite songs and videos that she ever did. I'm very curious sometimes to think what what would be if she went a hit only on Canada. The
Mhm.
next steps, the next videos, the next music, uh, because I feel like the album This Kiss was made like really quickly, and I perceive that they use the same structure for the songs to create it. Like all the songs, she sang something like I'm breaking up with you, you breaking up on me. All the songs that has this you and me, all the songs in the
Mhm.
album.
Oh, okay.
you know like on this
Okay.
case she sings, and you, I'm always know where you are, and you always know where I am.
Mm.
All the tracks, there's
Oh, wow.
this. So I feel
Okay.
like they
Okay.
did
Okay.
like very quickly. We need an album
Yes.
or something.
Mm.
But I do love this video. I want to know what you guys think about this one first with Mao, please.
Okay, for me was a surprise to listen to this song because I'm not familiarized with Carly Rae Jepsen music. I is not an offense. Don't get me wrong, Luquillas, but I consider her a one hit wonder for a moment
Okay.
because I didn't know a lot about her. I remember when Call Me Maybe was released, I was tired of listening that song. I remember I was working in Stradivarius, that is woman clothes store, the same of Zara. and
Okay.
that song was playing all the time in this at the store. Like I was like, oh,
Yes.
I don't in 2012, right?
Yes.
I don't want to listen to that song anymore because it's like, oh my God, all the time. For me, was today a surprise when I was watching this video and listening to the song. I was like, okay, this was not a silly girl. It was a mature woman. So
Yes.
I enjoyed more this song and this video in comparison to maybe call me baby, call
Call
me
me
maybe.
Call
maybe.
me maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, call me maybe. I always was confused with the name of the song. I was not
Maybe
sure
or
about
maybe. Yes.
baby or maybe. Yes, yes, and this video reminds me a lot of "Come Clean" by Hilary Duff,
Mm.
but in a darker way, like
Yes.
in a more mature way.
Yes.
So yes, I think it was I don't know it was good for this girl or bad for this girl because Call Me Maybe was a hit, but at the same time was like
Stigmatize her as a
yes,
kid.
yes, as a one hit wonder. So yes, but I have to say I enjoyed the video and enjoyed the song.
Great. And you, Marielle?
I agree with Mao. I am not really a fan of Carly. I listened to her first album, The Kiss, I think it's called. Yeah.
Is actually the
Oh, the
second, but
second.
is
Yes.
the one with Call Me Maybe.
Yes. I
Yes.
listened.
These
I
kids.
listened to that album only once, and I don't really recall much. So, when you said that you wanted to choose this video, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it, and I really like it because, like Mao said, "Call Me Maybe" was everywhere, and
Yes.
it was tiring listening to that song, and so it was really shocking for me to see her changing so much from a very catchy, cheesy bubblegum song
Cheesy.
to a
Yes.
more mature song, and seeing her like that was like, oh wow. I mean, I didn't know she had these two faces, but like you mentioned, she was very admired by young women, by
Kids.
teenagers. So
Yes.
Kids. Yes.
it would have been like, first I'm doing this and then I'm doing this, or what kind of image I'm wanting to give. So I really liked it. I mean, the song, I actually liked it even better than "Call Me Maybe." So I think that it's a very good song, and the video was really hot. I liked it. I liked it. It has also this kind of Britney Spears' perfume video vibe.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, but I liked it.
Oh, guys, I'm really happy. I'm really happy about your
Yes.
opinion. I
Yes.
wasn't
Yes.
expect
Yes.
that
Yeah.
because I really love this because it's darker, as Mal said. I really love to see artists in this position, like doing something more uh, different and mysterious and
Mm-hmm.
darker. So it is really nice. And let's rate this. For me, the video is a five. It should be official released, and I I feel like she could be better as an artist back then if it wasn't like the whole Justin Bieber crew behind her. So, but it's a five for me. And for you, Marielle?
Yeah, I think it's a five too. I really like it.
Hey,
Yay.
and you, Mal?
Yeah, it's a perfect video. It's a perfect song. I think, as I told you before, if it's not about "Call Me Maybe," I think this song were like it would have been huge, as in the way that she was a different kind of artist that Call Me Maybe show us like she was very different. So it's a five. A lot of single potential, radio potential on the video is very good. Very good
Yeah,
production actually. So yes,
amazing, guys. And she has a lot of
yes,
good music. Now she's not in that Call Me Maybe vibe anymore, I promise, if you guys
Okay.
want to try something. But it's a shame that she's not uh, number one anymore because she's not
yes,
playing the game. You know, she's doing
Mm-hmm.
the music that she
yes.
really loves. but it's good. It's good. I really admire her.
Okay.
So that's it. Thank you.
No, thank you, Lucas. And
Thank
now
you. Yes.
I'm going to talk about one video that was shot but never finished, but some shoots were released, and it's a shame, because I mean, I'm a huge Britney Spears fan, and you all know I'm talking about Outrageous, a song from her
Yes.
fourth studio album, In the Zone. I believe Outrageous is one of the most standout songs from In the Zone. So it was great that they chose it to be the next single after Every Time. But unfortunately, Miss Britney got injured in her knee. I think she injured her knee.
Yes.
So unfortunately, the video never was finished because it had the great potential. The way it started by seeing Britney in her big clothes of a basketball player and with Snoop Dogg, who we can see in the video. And then there was an amazing choreography that was shot, but it's a shame it never got fully released. I mean, I would have loved to see more of the video, how if she was having other clothings, other changes, other choreographies, what else would have happened in that video? We will never know. But I think it was a great choice to release Outrageous as a single. Unfortunately, she had that injury, and it never peaked as it should have, because like I mentioned, it's a standout song from In the Zone.
Yes.
So what do you guys think of the short video that is out there? What are your thoughts on this? And do you think it would have been really popular, Mao?
Well, put some R&B bites and I'm there. So this song is great. I mean, I think it's my favorite song from this album. I love the vibe from this album that sometimes is very hip hop, and I love the parts that we have of this video because it's very hip hop. I love the way she looks, like very urban with these jeans, very tomboy, but at the same time she's very sexy. I It's a shame that we don't have this video incomplete. We have this video completed because it's great. I love this song. I love this video. Sorry. And yes, it is funny because this time it was not about nothing about the label or something like that. It was about her and her health and her and in the food, I think, in the feed. And
I believe
yes,
it was her
It was her
niece.
her
niece.
I
niece.
I
believe.
think
Ah,
it
her
was.
niece. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Yes. It's a shame because it was that, but I love it. I really love this era of Miss Britney Spears.
Thank you, Mao. And what about you, Lucas?
For me, this was like the first very sad moment in the whole sad story that we have about Britney Spears because the song had a lot of potential, of course, and this moment that she hurts her knee was like the start of a lot of problems that she had with this with her knee that makes difficult for make some choreographies in the future. So it was like the beginning of a lot of bad things for her. But the song had a lot of potential. It was kind of the sound that was on the radio uh, back then. And there's a rumor that actually there was a rap by Snoop Dogg on the video
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
that was never released. So we will never know. We don't know if this version actually exists, but it would be amazing for the song because it was already the fourth single of In the Zone. So have a different version with this rap could really help the song to made even better on the charts. It's a shame like the part that we have of the video is perfect. There are some photos online that she's wearing another very sexy outfit that we don't have any scenes of this on this video that is also beautiful. And that's it. It's one case that we will never have the full experience of
Yeah.
this because simply doesn't exist. So it's very sad for sure.
Yeah. And how would you rank the few parts that are leaked I will give it a
Yeah,
five.
it's a five. Yes, it's a five.
It's a six.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's perfection. It's perfection. The way she moves, the way she sings, the song, everything is
Yes.
perfection. So
Yes,
yes,
Everything.
that song is
Yes,
underrated for sure.
totally,
for sure.
totally.
Yeah. And now, Mao, what about the video that you chose?
Well, guys, to close, I have this video that in the same case of Luquitas, I didn't choose a song from the 2000s or from the 90s. I choose a song from 2016 actually.
Mhm.
But it's in the vibe of the 2000 songs, and it's something new by Zendaya and Chris Brown. Zendaya at that time was not so involved in the movies world. She was more focused in the music, and she was preparing an album, and she's working in an album very R&B oriented. And she released this song that is called Something New with Chris Brown. At first, she recorded this song with Babyface.
Mm.
But I don't know if you perceive that, but when an R&B female singers is emerging, also Chris Brown is on it, like with Rita Ora, with Chloe, with a lot of singers. I don't know if you noticed that, but Chris Brown is
Yes,
in
sir.
everything. Like yes, to give these singers like
To
to
kick.
make this yes just to kick the to impulse. I don't know if it's the word correctly, to
It's
impulse the career of these girls. So in this case was the same because Zendaya was starting her career, so they actually shoot the video, and it was confirmed a cameo by T-Boz in this video because the
Mm.
song has the sample of Creep by TLC, so it was perfect. Like as I don't know if you had the opportunity. I think you did, guys, to see this little portion of the video that Zendaya is dancing
yes.
like something at a club or something like that. I think it was a good video, but in that moment, Chris Brown makes some statements about Kelani, and about the situation Kelani was struggling at that time because it supposed like Kelani committed an attempt to suicide, and Chris Brown was mocking it at the moment that she was dealing with at that time. So Zendaya is a friend of Cavani, and she said that she didn't want to be in relation with Chris Brown anymore.
It's
So it was her decision to not release the video.
Mm.
In 2020, the team of Chris Brown asked Zendaya to release the video, but she she just put a little portion of the video in one of the Instagram stories. That was all. But the video was shooted, and the video was done.
Mm.
So I loved that song at that time. At that time, I was very into Zendaya's music because I enjoyed so much the first record. So I like it so much the direction that Zendaya was taking in the R&B, very R&B. I like so much her voice. So it's a shame that we don't have a video of that song, but at the same time, I understand her reasons, and the reason and yes, the reason why she decided not to release the video. I
yeah.
want to know what you think about it, guys. Look at us.
I really feel like the video for the snippet that we have
Yes,
uh, had a lot of influence of the TLC video
yes,
too, the creepy one, and I really expect this one to leak it or be released for the fans um, someday. But I feel like it was clever of Zendaya to not release in that moment, to not connect her name with Chris Brown in that situation. And to be honest, I'm a person that I really can separate the artist from the art. I can listen to the music that I love besides someone doing something that is not a good. But we know that Chris Brown had a lot of controversial things with Rihanna and things. And to be honest, for me, is stranger even now to see someone releasing a music with him.
Mm,
Sierra released a song with him last week, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
really, you know? It's weird because I can listen to his music solo and not think about what he did, but for me, it's really stranger when people choose to connect the name with his name. You
yes,
know,
you're
maybe
right.
I'm not forgiven Chris Brown and people already did, but I don't know. So someday we can watch this video for sure. But I think it was clever for Zendaya to not release it.
Yes, yes. What do you think,
I
Mariel?
agree with Lucas. I totally can't separate one thing from the other. And it has happened with a lot of artists that I used to admire, and if they done something that I don't approve or doesn't agree with the way I see things, I totally take them out. So, yeah, when you said it's a video from Zendaya and Chris Brown, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it just because, well, okay. And but I'm not a fan of Chris Brown, definitely. So apart that, I do believe that the song is good. So the song is really catchy. The part that we could see was really good, and I think Zendaya could have done it good without him. You know, I mean, I think that he
Yes.
was just added to add some
Yes.
popularity, like you mentioned, like everybody was choosing Chris Brown to kick off their careers, but I do not believe that he's a very good add to your career when we know what he did. So besides that, I think that her choice was really clever, but definitely it's a no for me when it comes to Chris Brown. Yes.
Okay, 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 okay. I agree with you. I admire so much Chris Brown's music, of course, not him as a person. When I started listening to R&B music, he was one of the artists that I was listening to the most at the time. But yes, I totally agree with you.
Mhm.
So yes.
Okay, yes. And so the ranking,
And the ranking, yes. According what you see, what you saw in this little portion of the video, what do you think, guys? And taking into consideration to this the song too, because
The song.
this
Yes.
yes.
well, but I will give it a 3 because I'm not
Okay.
really familiar with Zendaya and the fact that it's Chris Brown. So it's a 3. But the
Okay.
song is
Okay.
good. The song is good, to be honest.
Okay. What do
Yeah,
you
for
think,
me,
Luquitas?
it's a three. It's a three too because I think the music video had potential to be a good music video. And the song, I'm not addicted or I listen all the time. But I remember when it leaked back then, I was really expecting for something new from Zendaya, so I like it. So it's a three for me. And for you, Mal.
Okay, for me it's a four. I was addicted to the song when it was released. So I was expecting the video so much, and I understand the situation at that time, but at the same time I was like, oh, okay, I wanted to see the
Mhm.
video. So for me it's a four. It was for me it's a very catchy song and very perfect for R&B world, like for R&B audience. So yes.
Right.
And let's hope we have the music video for you
Yes.
someday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And besides, T-Boss was making a cameo in
Mm,
so it's so special because the sample is a song by TLC, so I think it was a good
yeah.
idea.
We know how
Yes.
much you love TLC.
Yes.
Great. So, well, those are the choices we have for today's episode. Like I have mentioned several times, and I will keep on mentioning, we only are talking about this, but don't think we're not going to talk about more in the future. These are the topics that we chose.
Yes, we
If
will.
you guys want us to talk about a specific song or album that was unreleased, please let us know in the comments below because there are a bunch of unreleased albums and songs out there. So, yes, be patient.
Yes,
Yes.
you are
Okay, so
right.
now, Lucas.
Well, now we have our game. That is a part that we love.
Yes.
someday would be very quickly, I believe. Uh, but I'm really curious about your answers. The first one, I want to know what is the song that you guys listen to the most, unreleased song with more plays in your last FM. I was checking mine, and I thought it was "Lay Me Down" by Michelle Branch, but then I remember that she when she released the album on streaming, she included this track, so it's now officially. So for me, it is a song called "The Best That I Can" by the Backstreet Boys. Uh, I really love the song. It was supposed to be part of the "This Is Us" album around 2009, and it's very beautiful. There's a little bit of R&B on this, and actually, I love the song so much that is the number five by the Backstreet Boys in my last
Mm,
FM. So I listen more to this than to hits like "As Long as You Love Me" and "Show Me the
mm-hmm.
Meaning." I really love this
Okay.
one, and I want to know yours, Mauricio.
Oh, for me it was so hard to find the song, and right now I'm doubting about it because I have a lot of Estacio Rico songs that I don't know if you consider that was not released. For example, Tantrum was a song that was released but at the same time not released. This is the song that I play the most.
I think it was
It
But
was
released on
released in
Japan,
Japan,
so
yes.
okay, okay. The other song is like Years by Stacy too.
That's
That
this
unreleased.
one I
Mm-hmm.
consider it.
yes,
Yes,
yes, yes. So yes, yes. It would be like Years that Stacy wrote that song for Christine Lesage, and then
yes,
she recorded the song for the this EP,
Mm.
this homemade EP.
yeah. I don't think this EP is real.
No, me
I don't
neither.
know because people posted as an official release and part of her discography or something. I don't think it was official. For me, people just put together a lot of leaked songs and made up
Mm-hmm.
this. She never thought about this, right?
Well, I asked her when I had the opportunity to meet her, and she said like I want to make physical copies of Reawakened. So
Oh.
I think she consider it's an
Oh
official
yes,
Oh,
release.
okay.
Yes,
yes.
because
But it's
I
because
was
for me the light years don't sound
No,
finished.
no.
yes,
So
they are like demos.
it's,
Yes, yes.
yes,
We were talking with Mariel once about it, and it was like homemade
Mm-hmm.
EP
yes.
is,
It's
but I
weird. It's
think she considered that is unofficial because I had the same question, and I was asking her like, do you plan to make physical copies of Reawakened? She was like, oh yes, I wanted to do it, but I don't have any distribution contract or something like that to do it. But yeah, I think she considers it an official release
Oh,
for her.
okay.
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 Thank you, mom. And yours,
Oh,
Marielle?
mine is Sugar Fall by Britney Spears. Yeah, because
Ah,
that song was
Oh,
supposed to be on Blackout, but it was only leaked, but it was never officially part of any Japanese or any other
yes,
international version. And there are a few versions of Sugar Fall, which is a shame because it's a very lovely song. I love it.
yes,
So that it would be mine.
yes. It was on the real Blackout, the CD that Britney used to carry with
Mm-hmm.
her all the time. That she was very proud of the songs, but unfortunately, it was not on the
Yeah,
final
it's a shame.
album.
It's a great song. Mhm.
Yes. So now I wanna ask you about some unreleased song that should be official, if you could. Like, I wanted the song to be official. I chose a song by Nelly Furtado called "No Regrets." For me, it's a beautiful song. The lyrics are so beautiful and very Sagittarius, as I am, as I Nelly Furtado is. And I wish this could be an official track, but it's only a leaked track. I think for
oh.
the album
The
is
Spirit
Spirits
Indestructible. Yes.
Indestructible. Yes, is around that time. And what's yours, Marielle? What song do you choose?
Uh, Difficult because I'm going with Britney again. I love all the unreleased songs by Britney, and
Yes, there's a
I
lot of good.
believe that And Then We Kiss should have been officially released because it was part of the Britney remix album, but it was a remix, and
Yes.
it should have been a
Yes.
full version, a full pop version without a remix. I believe that's the one I choose.
Yes, it's a good choice. And you, Mo?
I choose a song that is called Supreme by Brandy, featuring John Austin. This song's supposed to be part of the Human album, but it was not part of the final cut of the album. But it's an amazing song. I love the collaboration, and I love the how the R&B sound in that moment in music 2009, when they were trying to put R&B in a different kind of mood. So yes, Supreme by Brandy and John
Okay,
Austin.
great.
Okay, so I will use your answer for the next question. Which track of the Human album of Brandy you would exclude to include this one?
Uh, Let me think. There is a song that is called Shattered Heart or something like that that I don't like so much. Maybe that
Okay,
song.
this one.
Yes, that one, or actually Long Distance was the second single, but I never liked that song. So
Okay,
maybe Long Distance.
perfect. For Marielle is harder because and then we kiss. Britney recorded supposedly for In the
Mm-hmm.
Zone, so you should delete it a track for In the Zone to put this one.
Shit. uh, I'm gonna pick Me Against the Music because I never
Really?
really liked that song, and I'm
What?
not a fan of Madonna. So yeah, sorry, not sorry. So,
Okay.
but yes, I would put that song in there. But it's a personal
Okay.
opinion.
Well, for me, yeah, of course.
Okay,
For me,
totally
it's easy
valid.
because I'm not very fan of the album of Nelly Furtado. Sorry, Marielle. I know that you are a huge fan. So I would delete any track to put that one because I prefer No Regrets than any track on that album, to be honest.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay.
No, there's a song on
Now,
The Spirit Indestructible that is really bad called I don't even remember it. It's with a girl called Sara Tavares. Um beautiful, something beautiful like that. It's so bad. So yes.
Okay.
so I'll go with this
Okay.
one for you, Marielle. So now is the last question that I have for you guys. Which song or album do you still expect it to leak sometime? Uh, I will answer first so you guys can think. Uh, Hayden Panettiere, the actress, was supposed to release an album in 2008. She only released the first single, Wake Up Call. I really loved the song and I expected for the album for months and now years, and the album was never released. And she talked about this album in several interviews, so I know about some songs, what she was planning to release. There was a little bit of pop rock and more pop songs, and I really wish something could leak about this album, but never did. So I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for these Hollywood records. Please
Okay.
release this somehow. And Marielle, do you
I
have your answer?
I
Or
do, but I
Mal?
don't
I don't
know
know.
what the name
But
is. uh
I have a question
Oh,
about it, Luquitas. It could be an album that maybe was leaked but never released, or no
no,
leak.
no, something that you expect to listen sometimes and you never had a chance. Like never
Okay,
leak.
okay, okay, okay. Never, no leak. So, okay.
Yes.
for me, it's a Mariah Carey album that was supposed to be
Mm,
more rock oriented, but
Rock.
yes,
Oh, I
I
know
don't
the
remember
story.
the name right now.
Yes. I don't
yes.
know the name either, but I'm really curious
Yes,
about
so
this one
that
too.
would be or Nobody's Angel second album too.
Oh, yes. We all want this one.
Oh, that question is very hard.
Yes.
Uh, well, when Glee was on TV, uh, Amber Riley supposed to release an album
Mm,
because Leah Michelle was working in an album too, and she had the opportunity to release it. And Amber Riley was working in an album too, what never was released. So yes, that album
yes.
because then she had the opportunity to release some EPs and some
Mm.
songs that now are under the name of Riley, only Riley, just Riley. But she supposed to was working in an album as Amber Riley,
Yes.
yes. So
And
we never
in
had the opportunity.
the time of Glee, it probably would be more radio friendly, and maybe
Yes.
yes. So it's
Yes,
something
I
to be curious.
actually she mentioned in some interview or something like that that she had in that album a cover of Nobody Was Supposed to Be Here by Deborah Cox. So I was very interested to listen to this.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
very powerful vocals
We
for
are
Yes,
sure.
definitely
yes,
sure that there's a
for sure,
lot
yes.
of unreleased music out there that we hope that someday gets to
Yes,
see the light.
Lots. Yes.
we
So
wish,
that
we
was
wish.
my questions,
Thank you,
guys.
Lucas.
Thanks. Was really interesting to know your opinions and your thoughts and your wishes to leak.
No,
So thank you
thank
so
you,
much.
Lucas. This was a very interesting topic. I really enjoyed getting to know more about unreleased music, videos, and so because there's a bunch of material out there that will never see the light and that we
Yes.
will always be wishing for. But anyway, it was really interesting.
Yes.
I do you have anything else to add, Mimao?
Thank you guys as always. I'm always learning from you, so thank you so much. I enjoyed so much. I was thinking about this time we're going to take less time, but
That
no.
never
No.
happens.
Oh, we are always talking a lot. We are always having a good time talking about music.
I thought the
So,
same.
yes. And as Lucas said, in this time in particular, we don't have an official playlist in Spotify because it's impossible. But we were going to have a playlist
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.
in YouTube with
Yeah,
these
with
songs.
all the songs, like the whole
Yes, yes,
album by
yes,
JC,
yes.
the whole album by the girls,
Okay,
everything will be
yes.
there.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you,
yes.
everybody, for watching, for being here with us in another episode of Ready Set Pop. Please feel free to leave us your comments on the in the comment section, and to don't forget to subscribe, to give us a big thumbs up, and to follow us on Instagram. We will leave all the information on the description box. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Mo, for all your information, for all your love, and for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Love you so much. Bye
Bye bye.
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 Love you too.